Thank you, Mr. Regan. Let me just ask for the records: is the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, is it fully paid for? Is it fully offset, or does it create our increase our deficit?
Fully paid for.
It's fully paid for, fully offset. Imagine that. Are we losing jobs in this country over the last couple of years, or are gaining jobs? Any idea?
Gaining significant jobs.
Yeah. If I told you it's like the number is 10.7 million jobs have been created in the last 2+ years, would you believe that? Well, it's true. The unemployment rate. What is the unemployment rate today? What is it? 3.4, which I think, last time I checked, is the lowest it's been in how many years? A long time. I think that's a good thing for us to keep in mind as we take up these issues. I say that my colleagues get tired of hearing me say this. It's possible to do good things for this planet, clean air, clean water, climate change, and create jobs, and we are doing it. And we can continue to do it, and we need to do it in a fiscally responsible way. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. In his budget, President Biden has clearly prioritized protecting public health and the environment. EPA needs more people and additional funding to do the critically important life-saving and planet-saving work we're asking you to do. This includes reducing the greenhouse gas pollution that's driving climate disasters, working with industry to support a host of new, well-paying jobs in clean energy industries, and ensuring that EPA can effectively respond to chemical disasters like the one that you visited in East Palestine, Ohio, and in Darlington Township, Pennsylvania. Here's my question. Mr. Regan, how would the additional people and funding recommended by the President in his budget help the agency you lead fulfill your mission to protect public health and the environment with an eye toward reducing emissions, promoting economic growth, and increasing resiliency to natural and man-made disasters? Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Chairman Carper, and I want to start by thanking you and this committee for your leadership in passing the omnibus bill, the bipartisan infrastructure law as well. These pieces of legislation have helped the agency move the ball forward to invest in America. The town of Ellenboro, West Virginia, which received $1.5 million to address aging infrastructure. The town of Temple, Oklahoma, approximately $1 million in loan forgiveness to upgrade its water treatment facility. And Chairman, in your own city of Wilmington, Delaware, expected to receive $500,000 to upgrade its dewatering process to remove PFAS in the wastewater treatment facilities. In order for us to continue the great work like this, we need additional resources to continue, and that's included in the proposed budget. Additional funds would invest in our infrastructure, more than $4 billion to upgrade drinking water and wastewater infrastructure for all people. We do know that we received a lot of resources through the bipartisan infrastructure law for water infrastructure, but we also know that those resources pale in comparison to the size of the problem. But once we move beyond clean and safe drinking water, additionally in the 24 budget request, it would enable EPA to fully realize the promise of the bipartisan TSCA law that this committee wrote, getting protective chemical safety rules on the book while also getting the innovative new chemistries needed to propel the semiconductor, automotive, and battery sectors forward is extremely important for us. So last year's appropriations helped, but this year we needed a little bit more.
All right, thank you. My next question is environmental justice communities, frontline communities, and disadvantaged communities are disproportionately affected, as you know, by environmental hazards. I'm a firm believer, I know you are as well, in something called the Golden Rule. I think if you ask questions of everybody in this panel, they say we're all in favor of the Golden Rule. Treat others the way we want to be treated if we're in the same situation. That means we must ensure fair and equitable treatment for these communities, too. I know that you share a similar desire to assist and uplift those communities that have been affected by toxic pollution. Here's my question. How does this budget proposal do, and what does it do, to help the communities that need it the most, including those economically volatile and environmental justice communities? Go ahead.
Well, Senator, I believe in the Golden Rule, and I believe in rising tides lift all boats. I'd like to start by saying 85% of this budget request goes to states and tribes. I believe that states—
Say that again.
85% of the budget request goes to our states, our tribes, our local governments, which, as a former state regulator, I believe that our states and communities know better than the federal government, and they have the solutions. I've traveled all across the country, in the backyards of Jackson, Mississippi, to Mandan, North Dakota, to McDowell County, West Virginia. And I've heard the stories, I've seen with my own eyes the struggle that many families have for clean air and clean water. This new national program and these resources create a laser-focused opportunity on environmental justice, which we can do that while providing a clear point of accountability for both our internal and external stakeholders in coordinating this EJ work. So we're excited to see that many states are actually revising their definitions of disadvantaged communities for the state revolving loan fund programs as a result of our guidance. We're excited to see that our state, tribal, and local partners are embracing these resources to create equity in all of our communities. And so, this budget does request additional resources so that we have the capacity to ensure that every person in this country has access to clean air and clean water.
All right. My time is almost expired. I'm going to yield to Senator Capito, who has stepped